Thank you, Madam President. As we gather here today, let us take a moment to acknowledge the diverse perspectives and voices that make up our city. We come from different backgrounds with different experiences and beliefs, but we share a common goal to create a vibrant, equitable, and thriving community for all. In this chamber, may we approach our discussions with open minds, respectful dialogue, and a shared commitment to the well-being of our city. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I'll start by asking the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Reesner.
Here.
Nay.
Here.
Thacker.
Here.
Dougherty.
Here.
Hayes.
Here.
Horniman.
Here.
And Jones.
Here.
Let the record show that 7 out of 7 council members are present. Minutes from the August 4th, 2025 regular and committee of the whole meetings were distributed. Are there any changes? We did get an agenda change memo in with some minor corrections to those. Are there any others? Okay, seeing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. We're now under committee reports. Finance Committee, Councilor Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. A Finance Committee meeting was held Monday, August 11th, 2025 in council chambers. The purpose was to discuss ordinance 2025-63 for the appropriation of funds for a baseball complex feasibility study at Hedges Boyer Park and any other business that may come before them. Attending were committee members Kevin Reesner, Aaron Jones, and Kyle Daugherty. Also attending were Mayor Lee Wilkinson, City Administrator Nick Dutrow, Finance Director Kathleen Kaufman, City Engineer Matt Watson, Council members Dennis Snee, Cheyenne Thacker, John Hayes, and Law Director Zach Fowler, Parks Director Bryce Kuhn, and residents Ron and Vicki Klaus, Al and Janet Shutt, and Big Sticks Baseball Commissioner Kurt Malone. Reesner called the meeting to order at 5:15 p.m. The City Administrator and Parks Director explained an ordinance for a $15,000 feasibility study funded through the general fund, exploring the development of a baseball complex at Hedges Boyer Park. The 5 to 6 week study would assess site suitability, infrastructure needs, economic impact, and community input, with the findings presented to council for further action. Councilmember Jones asked about the number of fields. Parks Director Kuhn noted that this would be determined by the study and highlighted potential revenue benefits. Councilmember Snee cited positive impacts on local businesses, and Kuhn confirmed stakeholder interviews would be included. Councilmember Thacken questioned the site viability, to which Kuhn responded that the location is the only option as it lies within a floodplain. Kurt emphasized resident engagement, which Kuhn affirmed. Community member Vicki Klaus expressed concerns about traffic and noise affecting the park's character. Kurt acknowledged the infrastructure challenges, but stressed the economic value of hosting events locally. The law director, with input from the city engineer, noted that further planning, particularly flood mitigation, would be required, including a likely formal flood study to assess impacts along Rock Creek. At the August 4th City Council meeting, Ordinance 2025-63 received its first reading. With no further business, the meeting adjourned at 5:35 p.m.
Any questions? Okay. Law and Community Planning, Councilmember Dougherty.
No report, Madam President.
Materials and Equipment, Councilmember Jones.
No report, Madam President.
Personnel and Labor Relations, Councilmember Hayes.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. A Personnel and Labor Relations Committee meeting was held in City Chambers on August 11th, 2025. The purpose of this meeting was to discuss Mayor's request for legislation number 25-39, compensation for HR Director and new Executive Assistant position. Attending were committee members John Hayes, Cheyenne Thacker, and Kyle Daugherty. Also attending were Mayor Lee Wilkinson, Law Director Zachary Fowler, City Administrator Nick Dutrow, Finance Director Kathy Kaufman, and council members Aaron Jones, Kevin Reesner, and Dennis Snee. Hayes called the meeting to order at 5:40 PM. Mayor Wilkinson explained the two changes as an individual taking the role of HR director and the current administrative assistant taking on payroll duties, necessitating a new pay level and title. Dutro explained the rebalance of the HR director pay in the context of the history of the position and the pay rates in like-sized communities. Hayes motioned for the law director to draft legislation to amend the pay ordinance for the position of HR director. Thacker seconded, and the motion carried 3-0. Thacker motioned for the law director to draft legislation creating the executive assistant position. Hayes seconded, and the motion carried 3-0. And with no other business, the meeting was adjourned at 5:57 PM. And that concludes my report.
Any questions? Okay. We are now under Recreation and Public Property. Councilmember Snee.
No report at this time, Madam President.
There is no report for street, sidewalks, and sewers. And Economic Development and Downtown Planning, Councilmember Boardman.
Thank you, Madam President. An Economic Development and Downtown Planning Committee meeting was held at 5:17 PM in council chambers. Attending were committee members Scott Horniman, Aaron Jones, and Cheyenne Thacker. Also attending were Mayor Lee Wilkinson, Law Director Zachary Fowler, City Administrator Nick Dutro, Council member Kyle Dougherty, and the CEO of the Seneca Collaborative, Bryce Riggs. Horniman called the meeting to order. The purpose of this meeting was to discuss amendments to Chapter 723 of the codified ordinance, mobile food truck vendor. Horniman stated that his goal was to get the fire chief and police chief's recommendations drafted into legislation. Councilmember Thacker and the law director suggested the committee return to the three amendments that were voted down last regular meeting as a package. And the quote was, "We were really close." After similar discussions from prior meetings, three amendments were approved to be drafted as legislation. One, $100 licensing/operating fee to replace the $25 weekly fee currently in place. Two, 100-foot separation from similar business/cuisine. Three, 24 hours non-operational while operations cease and vehicles parked on city property. 100 flat licensing fee passed unanimously. 2, the 100-foot rule passed, Horniman voting against. 3, 24 hours non-operational and parked on city property with intent of continuous service passed 2-1, Horniman voting against. In other discussion, we discussed vendors filing with the tax department. Discussion was had about the vendors filing with the income tax department, the food truck vendors. The law director advised that in the codified tax ordinance, anyone working 20 days or more a year must file taxes with the city. Discussion, 100-foot rule. Horniman wanted 150 feet to 200 feet from similar businesses. Thacker didn't think it was necessary. The law director advised that the city administrator approves permits. Horniman pointed out again that the food truck spot at the T-Sep lot, Ralph's lot, is exactly 110 feet from the deli at Frost Parkway's front door. A truck could pull up and sell sandwiches after a parade or an event at the Ritz. The deli closes daily at 3 p.m. Also discussed was food trucks on Washington Street in downtown. Prior motions by Horniman did not receive seconds in council and committee meetings. The motion is to have 0 food trucks on Washington Street in the downtown Tiffin area unless part of a festival, market, or special event. Horniman cited both the fire and police chief's concerns about visibility, getting life-saving equipment into obstructed buildings/entrances, all while moving around a vehicle with a propane tank. Horniman used the example of trying to cross the street with a stroller and see oncoming traffic. Councilmember Jones claimed that Horniman was trying to have it both ways and said that if the food truck owners and downtown business owners are so passionate, then why is the gallery empty? Horniman referenced Jamie Fadley's recent letter and other communications with council. Also, the multiple other food truck vendors who have spoken during oral communication at meetings over the past few months. Councilmember Dougherty laughed and confirmed he agreed with Jones. City Administrator Nick Dutro reminded the committee that this current version does have an appeal process. The logical appellate group would be City Council or Council. In other business, Horniman then raised a concern about copyright licensing fees on restaurants and bars. It is hindering their ability to have live music and operate their business successfully. Clover Club currently does not have live music, according to the owner, because their licensing fee is estimated at $3,000 annually. He added that the lab and bailiwicks are in similar situation. Horniman said he had made contact with Donna Gross with downtown Tiffin aware. He wanted to bring attention to this matter. Mayor Wilkinson reminded the committee that Bryce Riggs, CEO of the Seneca County Collaborative, was in attendance. Mr. Riggs said he would look into it, but it may be just the cost of doing business. Councilmember Thacker suggested talking to the Ritz about their license. With nothing else coming before the committee, Horniman adjourned at 6:25 p.m. That concludes my report, Madam President.
Okay, any questions? Okay. Does anyone see the need to schedule a committee of the whole? We're now under reports of the officers. His Honor Mayor Lee Wilkinson.
Thank you, Madam President. For my report tonight, I would like to just introduce Maureen Willis of the Ohio Consumers Council. Maureen has worked for the Office of the People's Counsel in Washington, D.C., or the Washington, D.C. Consumer Advocate on Utility Matters. And she worked at the Office of the Ohio Attorney General as special counsel and the Montgomery County Prosecutor's Office. I don't know if I got all of that correct, but.
You did. Thank you so much. Mayor Wilkinson, Madam President Boyle, City Council members, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening about utility bills on the rise. That's the name of the presentation. And I'll be speaking to you about the AEP application to increase your electric rates. But before we get to down into the details of that rate increase, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Office of Consumers Counsel. The Office of Consumers Counsel is a state agency. We were created in 1976. For almost 50 years next year, we will have represented residential consumers in matters involving investor-owned electric, gas, water, and telephone utilities. We advocate and educate for consumers before the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio, before the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, before the Ohio Supreme Court, and before PJM. We also advocate for residential consumers in front of the Ohio General Assembly. We are an independent organization. We have a board appointed by the Attorney General and confirmed by the Senate. So that's a little bit about our organization. If we could go ahead. Okay, our mission, as I said, is to educate and advocate for consumers. And again, we represent residential consumers. We unfortunately don't represent cities, but we do represent the residents in your city. If we could go forward, AEP service territory. As you can see, their service territory is spread across the state and certainly includes Tiffin. Next slide, please. So the AEP has asked for a rate increase. Here's our depiction of what a typical consumer would see from the bill increase. And you'll see typical consumer uses about 1,000 kWh per month. Currently has a bill of about $184. That's going to go up to $188.67. Now you might say that's not too bad. That's a $4 a month increase, $50 a month, or $50 for a year. But we see on the next slide, there's other elements of your utility bill that can increase. Your utility bill really has three pieces to it. One is the distribution charge, and that was what we just saw on the prior slide. Another piece of your bill has what's called a transmission charge. It's for bringing the power from the power plants into the local utility, AEP. And then the third piece of your bill is for your energy supply. Ohio's a deregulated state, so we know the PCO no longer regulates power plants. You can go out and shop for your power, or you can avail yourself of aggregation. So there's a lot of elements to your bill, and so we're only talking about one piece of your bill, but if we go to the next slide, we'll see what's happening to energy supply. Energy supply is going way up. In fact, if you look at your bill and you say, I don't understand why my bill is so high, it is probably due to the energy supply costs. They are controlled by PJM, so it's nothing that the PUCO has authority over, but it is certainly a huge increase, you'll see. If we could go to the next slide, please. The other piece of your bill, we were talking about three pieces, the transmission piece. Transmission piece is controlled by FERC. That also is rising. So as you can see, the FERC increase has gone, it started about $350 back in 2021. We're now paying over $500 a year in transmission costs. So what does this mean for consumers? It means your bills are going to increase. So what we're talking to you about is the AEP bill. Now, I know that Tiffin, the city of Tiffin, has an aggregation program. I want to say aggregation is great. It is, for those of you who may not know what aggregation is, it's buying power in bulk. So governments buy government organization, primarily the Northern Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC, I believe is your aggregator. They are able to buy bulk power, and that keeps the price of your power down. I know you have electric, you have gas, and even the county, Seneca County, has aggregation. Very smart choice. Right now, the aggregation price for the electric supply is lower than the electric supply that's offered by your utility. Your utility's electric supply is called the standard service offer. That's also a very good bet. When we talk to consumers, they say, I don't want to, there's too many choices out there. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to choose. So we actually counsel consumers to take standard service offer or take advantage of the aggregation program. So one thing we wanted to highlight is AEP had their second quarter earnings call, did very well. Their profits are really doing well. Is it okay for their profits to be high? Sure, we want healthy utilities, but at the same time, we want to make sure that they're not gouging consumers, that consumers are getting, the rates that consumers pay are going to be reasonable and not overstated. So if we could go to the next slide. Yes, so I wanted to talk to you very quickly about the decision process. So what happens is utilities like AEP come to the PUCO, they file an application, and in that process, OCC is your lawyer. We represent residential consumers. We bring expertise to the table. That means we have consultants, we have accountants, we have financial analysts, we have all kinds of experts that we bring in to analyze the application, the utilities application. The 5 PUCO commissioners that are appointed by the governor act as judges. So they look at the evidence and they make the decisions. So if we go to the next slide, please. This is more of a breakdown. It's kind of a busy slide. So it shows we're busy people. We start out in April. AEP filed their application, and the next big event is the PUCO staff files a staff report, and that was filed in May. So now we are analyzing the application. The next step really is local public hearings, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you tonight about. Local public hearings are a chance for your residents and for you to come to testify at the PUCO to let the commissioners know what the impact of a $4 per month increase will be. So it gives the public an opportunity to speak with the commissioners, and the testimony that occurs at these local public hearings is considered evidence that the commissioners must consider when they're making their decision. So the local public hearings are really important. Then following the local public hearing, we have an evidentiary hearing, a lot of cross-examination, a lot of lawyering going on, briefs are filed, and then the decision is up to the commission. So the commission then makes the decision, and usually we don't agree. OCC doesn't usually agree with the decision, so we ask for rehearing. Sometimes we take it up to the Ohio Supreme Court. We in fact have several appeals at the Ohio Supreme Court right now of the commission decisions. So we are with you from the beginning of the application to the very end of the process. We are advocating for consumers. If we go to the next slide, please. So here's a little bit more about how you can make a difference and how your residents can make a difference. We talked about the local public hearings. We'll be getting a schedule from the commission. They usually have a local public hearing in some of the larger communities. Not sure if Tiffin would be one of those communities, but they often schedule these hearings and they'll publicize them. OCC has a website where we keep you updated on where the public hearings are, so you can plan to attend if you'd like. We also encourage you to talk to your neighbors, to your friends, get them to attend. We also have on our website, great website by the way, www.occ.ohio.gov. we have a consumer alert that explains the AEP case. We also have lots of educational materials that Amy Carls has brought to our to the meeting tonight. And I guess I should have said I am Maureen Willis, and Amy Carls is our Senior Outreach and Education Specialist. I always forget to introduce myself, so there you go. Very quickly, moving on to, we're getting down to the last bit. So we've talked about the local public hearings, but there's also another way to make your voice heard, and that is by making a filing, sending a letter. The PCO accepts snail mail. They also accept electronic comments. So plenty of opportunities for your residents to let the PCO know what you think about the proposed increase. Maybe you like the increase, maybe you don't, but you have the opportunity to give your public comments on that. We go to the next slide, please. So again, we talked about our fact sheets. We got them, we brought them, Amy brought them along. So there's all kinds of fact sheets. Again, part of our mission for OCC is advocacy, but it's also about educating consumers, because we think if you educate consumers, they can make wise choices and they can save money on their bills. So I'm going to bring Amy up for the next slide to talk about a little bit about the assistance programs that can help your residents who cannot afford some of the utility bills.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here as well. I am rather local. I come over from Findlay, so just kind of in your backyard. So I just wanted you to be aware that not only is the QR code that is on that slide, but in the PowerPoint in front of you, goes right to our assistance page, where there are information about each one of the different assistance programs. Now, the OCC does not administer any of them. They are actually administered through your local community action agency, which is GLCAP. And if people don't know that, that is one of the places that they are able to find out where they go to get help for different types of things, dealing with their utilities. There's also different utility provided assistance programs, and they're the ones that are listed in the other column. All of those are listed on the website as well. Some of those you go through GLCAP, some of those you're going to go through your local Salvation Army here in town. There's also the Dynegy is one of them that is very new. It's actually a pilot that if you have Dynegy as your supplier, they have some, at least through the end of this month, and we're not sure if they're going to continue it because, again, it's a pilot. They have some assistance for those folks that are using them as a supplier. A lot of the aggregations have Dynegy, so that is one of the ways where people are able to get some additional help too. So we also have not only the fact sheets under publications on our website, but there is also then an assistance menu bar. If you hit that, it takes you directly to all of that information, as well as you can find it right under our publications.
So I want to thank Mayor Wilkinson, Madam President Boyle, City Council members, and I open it up for questions if you have any. Thank you.
Yes, Councilmember Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. So AEP hasn't raised their rates already?
Well,
Because I kind of feel like looking at the last couple of months' bills, and a lot of people that I represent and a lot of people that work for me are like, holy Toledo. And I'm like, I'm right there with you. So that hasn't taken place?
hasn't taken place yet. And I think what you're seeing is the energy, the energy supply charge. The energy supply charge in started June 1st, went up 25%. Before that, it went up, I think it was like 66%. It is just climbing and climbing. So AEP's distribution piece, remember I said there's three pieces?
Right.
The distribution piece, they have not increased that since 2020, but the supply cost is increasing and the transmission. So there's two pieces that are going up that you will see. And plus, of course, these charges, the more energy you use, the higher they go. So we're in the season now where people are running their air conditioners, so you're going to have a lot more energy usage. So you will see higher bills. But yes, unfortunately, the distribution rate increase, the $4 per month proposal has not been implemented yet.
Okay, yeah, because last year at this time, my bill, I don't know about anybody else as well, other than other people that have told me, it's doubled.
Yep.
It's literally doubled from one year to the next.
And that's really why we really try to emphasize aggregation and conservation, keeping your bills, keeping your costs down. We have a sheet called keep your cool or cool out during the summer. I'm not sure exactly.
I think it's beat the
Beat the, there we go, beat the heat. Yeah, so it actually gives you tips of what to do during the summer, because I think that's when most of the usage is occurring on the electric side, for sure. And then I will say, other bad news, we have Aqua, who has filed for a rate increase, and that's quite substantial. So that will be coming down the pike probably next year.
Okay.
So, thank you for your question.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I appreciate it very much.
Sure.
Councilor Hordman?
Thank you, Madam President. With the public hearings, is there usually a time frame, like when they're reviewing the information and they kind of, it's said to be determined or so, and just.
Well, they will actually publicize the dates of those evidentiary hearings. Usually they're before the evidentiary hearings, so I would expect they'll be in the next couple months, but the PUCO would put out a schedule and a location and give consumers notice of when those hearings are. And again, would love for residents to come out and, what the commissioners need to hear is how will this increase affect your life? Or will you be able to still get utility service? Because I think some of these residents are being pushed way beyond where they should be pushed. So they're having to make hard choices. So that's the kind of information and the testimony that you can give, is how this will affect your daily life. And that's something the commissioners should hear before they make a determination on a rate increase.
I just want to say thank you to Amy and Maureen for coming. And anytime that we can educate our residents and be better consumers because we know more, that's a plus. So thank you very much for coming.
And I will say that I'd be happy to, we usually work with city councils to work on a resolution. We have a resolution we'd be happy to forward to you, which would oppose the rate increase. So I'd be happy to send that along. You could take a look at that. It pretty much mirrors our presentation. It talks about the $4 increase and how it's affecting your residents. So we'd be happy to work with you with that, and we'll send that along. But thank you again. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
And that concludes my report.
Okay. Clerk of Council Ann Forrest.
No report, Madam President.
Director of Finance Kathy Kaufman.
Thank you, Madam President. Before I give you the report for July, I wanted to go over 3 of the ordinances that are being read tonight. So ordinances 2025-70, 71, and 72. Those are asking for suspension, and those are all as a result of my request for legislation. So just wanted to go over 2025-70. That is a grant that was received from National Machinery. That is for the Police Special Response Team. Ordinance 2571 is the one for the sewer camera that was mentioned earlier. That's a piece of equipment that's desperately needed, rather sooner rather than later. And 2025-72, that is repairing a light that was broken or destroyed by a falling tree. So we'd like to get that taken care of as soon as possible as well. And now I have your report for July 2025. Receipts for the month were $1,212,880.43. Total expenses for the month were $1,271,994.51. The general fund unencumbered balance is $5,968,981.36. Income tax receipts for July 2025 were $952,765.72. The total annual increase in income tax receipts for July 25 compared to July 2024 is $26,850.30. Year-to-date, income tax receipts are up 4.12%. The 0.25% portion of income tax receipts that was transferred into Fund 215 for public streets for July 2025 was $116,389.70. The portion of income tax receipts that was transferred into Fund 331 for capital improvements for July 2025 was $81,858.90. The unexpended balance for all funds is $43,204,529.48, which is the same as the bank balances for the same time period. And that includes my report.
Okay. Counselor Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to accept the Finance Director's report, bank reconciliation for month ending July 2025.
Okay, is there a second? Counselor Horniman?
I'd like to second that motion, Madam President.
Is there any further discussion on this matter? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay. Director of Law, Zachary Fowler.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I do have a few things for you tonight. Before I get into some of that report, just reiterate kind of things we talked about, Committee of the Whole on legislation. So ordinance 2025, there's a correction that's needed. So you'll need to amend that pay for the first year to $28.6394 instead of the 27. And then on ordinance 2571, we need an amendment there as well, and that should be 115,500 instead of just 115,000. One thing I did leave off on the talk about the Joint Justice Center Capital Fund. You will get another request from the county here in the future. There's the brick there in front of the courthouse and out in the sidewalk, and that brick is kind of failing. The county would like to replace that stretch of sidewalk. So, and I sent you an email so you have kind of a map of an idea of where that is. But just so you know, you'll get another request. And as noted in the resolution, with the agreement between the city and the county, both council and the Board of Commissioners has to just approve any expenditures. So that's why you're being asked for your approval. So with that, just a few other things just for your knowledge. One is, if you recall, I have a part-time prosecutor that we contract through with the county prosecutor's office. Alyssa is moving on. Her last day will be September 5th. I don't anticipate any further contracting with the county prosecutor's office for a part-time position. So for the time being, we'll move on with just our full-time prosecutor and see if we can get lucky to find someone that's part-time. So there was some money that I've sent over to the county per our contract. We will get a portion back of that for those months of September through the end of the year that's unused. And if I find a part-time person, I may be back to you just for some budget changes. The other thing that I've touched on is the cybersecurity policy/program. Just wanted to keep you updated. City administrator and I have done some digging around. The city has policies through Lexipol. We have a few policies that touch on some things that are related to this, like email use, use of your computer, those things. But they do have a cybersecurity incident policy that the city can add, and that will go a long way to meet what this new state law is asking you to do. But even under that, it requires a threat kind of incident plan to be developed, which is essentially the same thing this new law is asking you to do. So it is something that we'll still have to put together to bring to council to get approved. But these are things of essentially, if a threat happens, what do we do next? Who are we informing? Who are we reaching out to? How are the what's the response going to be? So those are details we still yet will work out. But those are the items I have for all of you. That concludes my report.
Okay. Any questions? Councilor Horniman?
When does the Justice Center agreement expire, or we need to renew it or take a look at it?
That's a great question. I will look at it. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'll get you an answer.
Just curious. Thank you.
Any other questions? I actually do have a question as well. The threat incident plan, have you seen any other cities put out legislation regarding this or policies that we could use as an example, or?
So I haven't seen anything from the city, but the state auditor on their website, they referred you over to the Ohio Department of Administrative Services, and then you can see their policies around cybersecurity. So we do have that as one example. And then the other is and I don't know the acronym off the top of my head, but there's kind of a national standard, and there is example policies and procedures for that.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay. We are now under written communications.
Thank you. We have Finance Director's request for legislation number F2525 to amend the 2025 Budget Ordinance 24-94 to appropriate funds into the police budget.
Finance Director's request for legislation F25-25 has been prepared for tonight's meeting as ordinance 2025-70.
Finance Director's request for legislation number F25-26 to amend the 2025 Budget Ordinance 24-94 to appropriate funds into the sewer maintenance budget.
Finance Director's request for legislation number F25-26 has been prepared for tonight's meeting as ordinance 2025-71.
And Finance Director's request for legislation number F25-27 to amend the 2025 Budget Ordinance 24-94 to appropriate funds into the Park and Rec budget.
Finance Director's request for legislation number F25-27 has been prepared for tonight's meeting as ordinance 2025-72.
And that concludes the written communications.
Okay, we are now under oral communications. Anyone who would like to speak can step up to the podium, sign in, and direct your questions and comments to me. Okay. Seeing none. We're now under motions. Are there any motions this evening? Yes, Councilor Hayes.
Yes, I'd like to motion to amend ordinance 2025-67. I'd like to amend the first year rate as it is on the pay schedule. I think the actual amount is 28.6394.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? Councilor Jones?
I'll second that motion, Madam President.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this matter? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any other motions this evening? Yes, Councilor Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. Motion to amend ordinance 2025-71, the amount specified from 115,000 to 115,500.
Okay. Is there a second? Councilor Horniman?
I would love to second that motion, Madam President.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Any other motions this evening? Councilor Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. Motion to, for ordinance 2025-70 to amend to have a January 1st effective date.
For which ordinance? I think you mean 69.
69? Yeah, you're right. Thank you. 69.
Okay. Is there a second? Councilor Horniman?
I'll second that motion, Madam President.
Okay. Any discussion? Councilor Horniman?
This is the request of the fire chief, and also I think it's good for paperwork where instead the current food truck, mobile food vendor has it going into effect April 1st, and we're just changing it to an effective date of January 1st, and that's what the police or the fire chief had requested.
Okay. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, any other motions this evening? Seeing none, we are now under resolutions and ordinances.
Resolution number 2025-32, introduced by Kevin Reesner, a resolution declaring the official intent and reasonable expectation of the city of Tiffin on behalf of the state of Ohio, the borrower, to reimburse its OPWC fund for an Ohio Public Works Commission loan for the CSO 9-13 and 15 inflow reduction project with the proceeds of tax-exempt debt of the state of Ohio.
This is the third reading of Resolution 2025-32. Councilor Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I moved for passage of Resolution 2025-32.
Okay, is there a second? Councilor Horniman.
I'll second that motion, Madam President.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the suspension, on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Resolution 2025-32 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Resolution number 2025-33, introduced by Kevin Reesner, a resolution declaring the official intent and reasonable expectation of the City of Tiffin on behalf of the State of Ohio, the borrower, to reimburse its OPWC fund for an Ohio Public Works Commission loan for the CP 37AB/CP 38AB, Ella Street, South Sandusky Street, and South River Road Sewer Rehabilitation Project with the proceeds of tax-exempt debt of the State of Ohio.
This is the third reading of Resolution 2025-33. Councilor Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for passage of Resolution 2025-33.
Okay, is there a second? Councilor Jones.
I second that motion, Madam President.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Councilor Horniman.
Kind of on both of these, it's kind of a formality that we need to pass a, resolution stating that we're going to do this work is pretty much what we're doing here and just putting the money's already there, so.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Resolution 2025-33 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Resolution number 2025-34, introduced by Kevin Reesner, a resolution approving the expenditure of funds from the JJC Capital Improvement and Replacement Fund held by the Board of County Commissioners of Seneca County, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of this resolution. Councilor Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate passage of Resolution 2025-34, suspending City Council's reading rule.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? Yes, Councilor Snee.
Yes, I'd like to second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Councilor Reesner.
Just an explanation on this. This was already budgeted. This is for, includes Judge's parking lot. Looks like there's a payment to Torrent Sound Equipment Company, Frankfurt Electric, Klaus Construction, and Earl Mechanical Services.
Okay. Any further discussion? Councilor Horniman.
It's my understanding that this doesn't need to be approved until October 31st. It's not necessary to suspend, but,
Okay, any, Law Director?
Sure. So we got this request from the county administrator. Her communication to me was the sooner the better. And just as I give you all kind of the breakdown, but the Common Pleas Court put $70,000 into this capital fund, and essentially that $70,000 covers the expenses for their parking lot. So at the end of the day, the court has paid for this. It just requires your approval per your agreement.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
No.
And Jones.
Yes.
The suspension passes with a vote of 6-1. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the emergency.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
No.
Jones.
Yes.
The emergency passes with a vote of 6-1. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
No.
And Jones.
Yes.
Okay, resolution 2025-34 passes with a vote of 6-1.
Resolution number 2025-35, introduced by Kevin Reesner, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor and declaring an emergency.
Okay, this is the first reading of Resolution 2025-35. Councilor Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate passage of Resolution 2025-35, suspending City Council's reading rule.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? Councilor Hayes?
I'd like to second that motion.
Okay. Any discussion? Councilor Reesner?
The reason for the suspension is this is due October 31st, and they'll be able to stay on schedule this way.
Councilor Horniman?
I thought it was August 27th is the,
August 27th?
No, that's the
One moment,
36.
one moment.
sorry.
Don't be out of order.
Sorry.
Law Director.
If I may. So this is due October 1. You have to have passed this resolution, and it needs submitted to the county auditor by October 1.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
The suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the emergency.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
The emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Resolution 2025-35 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Resolution number 2025-36, introduced by Dennis Snee, a resolution authorizing the mayor to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Urban Waters Federal Partnership Tree Planting Grant to execute contracts as required and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of Resolution 2025-36. Councilmember Snee.
Yes, Madam President. I moved for immediate passage of Resolution 2536, suspended City Council's 3 reading rule.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? Councilor Reesner?
I'll second the motion, Madam President.
Okay. Any discussion? Councilor Horniman?
This is the one that's August 27th. I got my notes and that was the added one. So sorry.
Okay. Any other discussion? Councilor Snee?
Yes, we have a timeline here. It's August 27th. We need to have this application in, so I appreciate that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
Kaler. Oh, I'm sorry. This is an old sheet. Hayes.
Yes.
A little out of order, but we'll get that. Okay. And Jones.
Yes.
Are we missing Dougherty still? We're still missing Dougherty.
Dougherty.
Oh, Dougherty. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the suspension passed with a vote of
Let me fix this
no.
before you do that.
7-0.
Okay. Okay,
And now the emergency?
let's see. Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
The emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Resolution 2025-36 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 2025-63, introduced by Kevin Reesner. An ordinance amending the 2025 Budget Ordinance 24-94 to appropriate funds into the general administration budget for a baseball complex feasibility study at Hedges Boyer Park.
This is the second reading of ordinance 2025-63.
Ordinance number 2025-65, introduced by Kevin Reesner. An ordinance amending the 2025 Budget Ordinance 24-94 to appropriate funds into the general administration budget and park budget.
This is the second reading of ordinance 2025-65.
Ordinance number 2025-66, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept easements from property owners on the east side of Nelson Street between Miami Street and Continental Street for the public use of sidewalks, take all other necessary actions, and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of ordinance 2025-66. Councilor Reesner?
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate passage of ordinance 2025-66.
Okay, is there a second? Councilor Snee?
Yes, I would second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Yes, Law Director, I'm sorry.
Sure. So this ordinance is, this is that strip on Nelson Street on the east side between Continental and Miami. Essentially, if you weren't there for that committee meeting, the right-of-way isn't wide enough for sidewalks to go in there. So city engineer is asking those landowners to put a sidewalk in, and then we will get this easement with your approval for public use over that sidewalk. Reason for the suspension is just that land transfers, property transfers are going on, and we're just trying to get this in place at the earliest time so that it's clear to the property owners.
Any other discussion? Okay. Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
The suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the emergency.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
The emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-66 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Amended ordinance number 2025-67, introduced by John Hayes. An ordinance creating the position of executive assistant/payroll manager.
This is the first reading of ordinance 2025-67. Councilor Hayes.
Yes, I'd like to motion for immediate passage of amended ordinance 2025-67, suspending council's three reading rule.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? Councilor Reesner?
I'll second the motion, Madam President.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Councilor Hayes.
Yes, the city would like to combine the current administrative assistant with the payroll duties, hence creating a new position. The suspension is so that this will take effect October 1st regardless, but the suspension will help Nick get offer letters out to the employees in question, the people in question, I should say.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
The suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-67 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 2025-68, introduced by John Hayes, an ordinance amending Section 2 of Ordinance number 2025-56, the amended city pay ordinance to reduce the salary of the Director of Human Resources and establish the salary of the Executive Assistant/Payroll Manager position.
Okay, this is the first reading of ordinance 2025-68. Councilor Hayes?
Yes, I'd like to motion for immediate passage of ordinance 2025-68, suspending council's 3 reading rule.
Okay, is there a second? Councilmember Horniman?
I'll second that motion, Madam President.
Okay. Any discussion? Councilmember Hayes?
Yes, much of the same in regards to why the suspension. The reduction in salary Director of Human Resources is more of a rebalance for between the rest of the city and also for the kind of modern, or say current role of the HR director and with the rest of the city, especially with the city administrator position as well, so.
Okay. Any further, yes, Councilmember Horniman?
I just want to say, like, the 2 candidates that are splitting these 2 positions are awesome. I mean, they're top notch. It's great to see.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
The suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the passage of this ordinance.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-68 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Amended ordinance number 2025-69, introduced by Scott Horniman. An ordinance to amend Chapter 723 of the codified ordinances.
This is the first reading of amended ordinance 2025-69.
Ordinance number 2025-70, introduced by Kevin Reesner. An ordinance amending the 2025 budget ordinance 24-94 to appropriate funds into the police budget.
This is the first reading of ordinance 2025-70. Councilor Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate passage of ordinance 2025-70, suspending city council's reading rule.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? Councilor Jones?
I second that motion, Madam President.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Councilor Reesner?
This is to appropriate grant from the National Machinery Foundation for the police special response team. The amount is $26,157. And thankful for the foundation for their.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
The suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-70 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Amended ordinance number 2025-71, introduced by Kevin Reesner, an ordinance amending the 2025 budget ordinance 24-94 to appropriate funds into the sewer maintenance budget.
This is the first reading of ordinance 2025-71. Councilor Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate passage of ordinance 2025-71, suspending city council's reading rule.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? Councilor Snee?
Yes, I'll second that, Madam President.
Okay, is there any discussion? Councilor Reesner.
This is for a failing, or pretty much failed sewer camera. And the reason for the suspension is because they're needing to get trained and get this moving quickly. So from my discussions with people involved, it sounds like it's gonna have a little bit of a longer life than the last one,
Okay.
hopefully.
Councilor Horniman.
It's $115,500.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Dougherty.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Horniman.
No.
And Jones.
Yes.
The suspension passes with a vote of 6-1. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Thacker,
Yes.
Dougherty,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Horniman,
No.
and Jones.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2025-71 passes with a vote of 6-1. I'm sorry, amended ordinance.
Ordinance number 2025-72, introduced by Kevin Reesner, an ordinance amending the 2025 budget ordinance 24-94 to appropriate funds into the Park and Recreation budget.
This is the first reading of ordinance 2025-72. Councilor Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate passage of ordinance 2025-72, suspending city council's reading rule.
Okay, is there a second? Councilor Hayes?
Yes, I'd like to second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Councilor Reesner.
In the Parks Department, this is for the Parks Department, so this is a $2,192 into the Fund 242 for them. A tree fell on one of the lights, so this is to cover that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the suspension.
Councilmember Reesner,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Thacker,
Yes.
Dougherty,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Horniman,
Yes.
and Jones.
Yes.
The suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the passage.
Councilmember Reesner,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Thacker,
Yes.
Dougherty,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Horniman,
Yes.
and Jones.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-72 passes with a vote of 7-0.
And that concludes the legislation.
Okay, we are now under other business. I'd like to bring up again the liquor license permit. And to clarify, this was brought up at the last meeting, but we needed to more explicitly say during the regular meeting whether or not we were requesting a hearing. So is there anybody from Street Sidewalk Sewers who has any issue with this at this time?
No.
No issue.
Okay, then we will ask, we will request the clerk send our response requesting no hearing. Any other business for this evening? Yes, Law Director.
Just something as a suggestion, if you recall with your changes on the pay for the HR director, that is in part due to the upcoming retirement of Deb Reamer, the current HR director. It is customary for council to express its thanks for service of a longtime employee through a resolution. It's a ceremonial resolution under the charter. It only requires at least one reading in that respect. So usually for department heads and elected officials, it is common for council to express their gratitude through a resolution. So with her last day being September 30th, there's 2 meetings coming up in September. If anyone has a desire to have that prepared, or if there's a motion tonight, I'll be glad to prepare that resolution.
Yeah, I'd be happy to sponsor that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other business? Yes. City Administrator.
Yes, thank you, Council President. It was mentioned during the presentation that the city is a NOPEC community. I know we've had NOPEC representatives here previously. For your information, there is right now the enrollment period for the gas supply is going on. So some residents may see in their mail coming soon that little postcard that says if you're not interested in having NOPEC be your gas supplier, then you can send this, you can give a call or send back in a letter opting out of the program. NOPEC works as an automatic opt-in, so everyone understands voters of the city of Tiffin voted to become a NOPEC community. What that means is everyone is enrolled automatically during their enrollment periods, and if they choose not to be, then they can opt out at that enrollment period. People can opt in or opt out of NOPEC at any time, not for the gas supply. You have to choose. You have to enroll in the gas at the time of that enrollment period, but you can opt out or leave NOPEC from the gas supply side. at any time if you did get enrolled. But from the electric side, you can opt in or opt out or join in or leave at any time with the electric. If anyone wants information about that, nopec.org, that's nopec.org, that's the website. You can do a comparison of what their current rates are, what their different plans are, and then you can also find that information as well as their customer service number on the City of Tiffin's website.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Horniman?
I just wanted to clarify the reason I voted no on some of the suspensions. In the city charter, it talks about the safety and welfare and such of the citizenry and such, and that's why we suspend the 3 reading rule sometimes. I understand things pop up and deadlines, but that was my reasoning. I voted no on some of those. It just didn't feel like the peace and welfare was at stake in some of them, so.
Any other business for this evening? Seeing none, we are adjourned.